Here are a few helpful tips for achieving a restful Sunday to restart your week.
Take a relaxing bath with candles.
Do gentle yoga with your dog.
Fight God and win to achieve revenge on all those who wronged you.
Make blueberry pancakes and listen to your favorite songs.
If you just laughed or smiled, you've fallen victim to the wondrous rhetorical trick of Parataxis.
Hi, I'm Brianna.
Hi, I'm Isabel. And
welcome to our PowerPoint night. For tonight's topic, we're looking at parataxis, present, past, and future.
Parataxis may sound like a disease, but as mentioned before, it's a rhetorical element, meaning it is used to argue with. You're probably familiar with logos, ethos, and pathos. Think of parataxis as their distant cousin known for partying with their hell-raising friends. Parataxis is the act of removing hierarchy from speech, but what exactly does that mean? Let's take a look at our example from the beginning. Obviously, one of these things is not like the other, yet fight God and win to achieve revenge on all those who wronged you is presented with the same grammatical weight as all of the other restful Sunday activities. Without any conjunctions or other grammatical markers, the Sunday activities are treated as equal actions. Fighting God and making pancakes are, for parataxis purposes, basically the same thing. So say we remove parataxis in our example. Before taking a relaxing bath with candles, doing gentle yoga with your dog, making blueberry pancakes, and listening to your favorite songs, you must fight God and win to achieve revenge on all those who wronged you. The addition of "you must" places an emphasis on fighting God as more important. Think of grammar as the maker of context, with parataxis using it to spread equality in spades. But how did we first learn about parataxis? Well, do you remember those hellraisers I told you your good old cuz Parataxis loved to party with? Those dudes causing fistfights at the frat party would be the sophists. Now, there's one fundamental thing you have to understand about the sophists. They were committed to pissing everyone off. Let's be clear here, they didn't intentionally piss people off most of the time, but the ideas the sophists came up with were ones that threatened the traditions of Greek society, so obviously they had their fair share of haters and some reputable folks like the unhinged, cave-obsessed Plato. Some of the ways that the sophists made enemies in high places, including making the general public rethink accepted parts of daily life, like history and the role of the gods. The use of parataxis was an important part of making the public really consider how things work. As explained before, parataxis is the act of creating that sweet, sweet matcha equality, and the sophists used parataxis to trigger, as noted by one of 6 scholars studying the sophists, the employment of probable arguments and the reconstitution of provisional historical narratives. That's a really long-winded and academic way to say that the sophists used parataxis to break down what is accepted in history and society and suggest a possible new way to look at things. And with parataxis, they were able to level the power playing field by making figures or histories who were usually overpowering other ideas be presented with lesser figures' histories to inspire a conversation. As an example, let's look at Gorgias' Encomium of Helen. As a quick recap, the story of Helen is that she caused the Trojan War between Greece and Troy by abandoning her husband and running away with some dude named Paris. However, Gorgias suggested that there was more to the picture than just Helen causing the war. He took into account the gods could have fated it for her, or that Paris was just a real sleazy dude who could talk his way out of a wet paper bag and con Helen into coming with him through persuasion. Gorgias used parataxis to make these two ideas, persuasion by a person and fate made by the gods, as equal to each other, effectively disrupting the understood in history and the power dynamics of gods and mortals. And even as we leave the sophists behind, parataxis, in the words of another one of the 6 scholars studying the sophists called Lindblom, transfers into modern society as a way to disrupt what's considered the norm.
You were probably wondering when we would get to how this is relevant to us. After all, those sophist guys lived like 2,000 years ago. I promise we are getting there. So in the late 70s and early 80s, this old writer guy came up with what he called the new sentence. It really isn't that new. He basically says that the new sentence is ordinary, but the effects come from the related sentence around it. The funny thing is, he didn't even acknowledge the emphasis his new sentence had on parataxis. So just like the sophist, the current understanding of parataxis is that sentences are connected through meaning, but none are subordinate to another. We have the example of, I understand the bee is lovely in its own way, and the bluebird is beautiful. As it stands, the bluebird and the bee are given equal importance. If I said, I understand that the bee is lovely in its own way, but the bluebird is beautiful, simply changing the conjunction from and, but gives more importance to the bluebird, which is totally unfair. Bees are pollinators and vital to our ecosystem. So why did we just use 15 slides to explain parataxis to you? To debate the superiority of bees to bluebirds? No. So now there are a bunch of smart people running around studying writing concepts, especially the sophistic practices that were ignored for a while. They have found that parataxis is used a lot in advertising, which works with the sophists because they were also motivated by money, widely distrusted, and viewed as a form of entertainment. For example, we have found this ad for Jaguar. The slightly hilarious and also mildly disturbing implication here is that buying a car and having a baby are essentially the same commitment. These two events are equal in importance. Also, if your eyesight is keen enough, you can read the teeny tiny words off to the side that describe the Jaguar as an aluminum-bodied bundle of joy and command drivers to start making memories. These are things often said to new parents. Visually and textually, the creators of this advertisement hope you understand that buying a car and having a baby are equally important. In the past and the present, parataxis has been a useful rhetorical tool. However, like any tool, it has its problems.
For example, even if grammatically two thoughts are in equal standing, people will still hone in on certain subjects depending on their own personal interests or beliefs. Parataxis also sometimes favors the aesthetic part of writing instead of focusing on the best way to communicate meaning. But while parataxis has its faults, when used properly, it can disrupt the social order and preconceived notions to make room for real change. And it is also good at pissing everyone else off.